Sally wants you around for wine and nibbles.
Oh, no. Do we have to?
Well, there's only so many times I can kick her into the long grass, isn't there?
Long pampas grass.
What, they're swingers?
She's too easy, you know.
She is.
Well, nothing would surprise me around here, Ryan.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, they're not exactly swingers as such. It's just that tend to get a bit touchy-feely in the hot tub.
And a little bit fruity in the Orangery.
Very good.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
Hello and welcome to episode 369 of The Talk of the Street, an unofficial Coronation Street catch-up podcast that is disappointed that the show has found a way to keep Dorin quiet, but pleased to discover that it doesn't last for long. I'm Gavin.
And I have joined Skynet.
You've what?
I'm part cyborg now.
That little white dot on your arm,
Yes.
that minuscule, looks like you've been lying on a piece of paper and it's just stuck to you. That thing.
Yes.
Because you diabetes.
Yes, because of my diabetes. Yes. So now I have something else to hyperfixate on and on data about while I watch my glucose levels rise and fall.
So
and rise
now
and fall.
when I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and turn over and you're on your phone, is it an auction you're looking at or is it your glucose levels?
It's my glucose levels. Has the a little alarm, has that woken you up yet?
What does it sound like?
Like a little,
Beep beep.
hold on.
Because I think I have heard it and I thought it was coming from Stelly's room.
Okay, now it's not going to do it.
This is great content.
Yeah.
A diabetes alarm.
Oh, and now my phone is refusing to show it. All right, never mind. Yes.
I think I have been walking by it then.
Yeah.
Now that I know what that is.
And it's frustrating because and I've turned the alarm off for this particular thing, which is when, for whatever reason, the sensor isn't communicating with my phone, it will beep. And it's frustrating because I have no idea how to fix that. I just kind of will shut the app and then open it back up again and hope that it starts.
That's an unusual process, switching it off and switching it back on again. It'll never catch on. As long as it shuts up that beeping.
Shocking, I know. But yeah, so that's new. That's fun. Diabetes is fun. Have you been this week?
Do you know, I've had so much fun at work this week. It's almost a shame that it's the weekend.
Really?
No. No. I actually mean the opposite of that.
Okay. All right.
But I did write an awful lot of code, so there is that going for it. Remember when I complained that writing code in R was very much like writing 2 lines and then looking something up and then deleting those 2 lines and putting another 2 lines and then including a library and then unincluding a library, and you go home and you've written 10 lines of usable code. Well, now I'm writing several hundred lines of usable code in a day, so I feel some sort of progress.
I had to remove over 100 little seashells from individual baggies today. So...
Was this a young taskmaster?
So I think I'd rather write 10 lines of code and delete them again. So my job is not always fun, is what I'm saying. It is most of the time. I did also have to catalog a weird mid-century carved cedar wood cat that looks like E.T. So,
No, not again.
but the seashell baggies, yeah, that was an unfun day. It's more fun than getting to the bottom of a box and finding, mouse feces or a dead mouse, but not as fun as E.T. cat.
What's it? It's like, what's worse than biting into an apple and finding a worm?
Biting into an apple and finding half a worm.
There we go. We're here all week. Shall we preamble, my dear?
Yes, please.
Give us some of that predictable Corrie news.
Oh, Harry, we barely knew ye. Literally.
Who the fuck is that wee boy?
Carter J. Murphy, who was brilliant in the Better Man movie,
Oh, wasn't he?
Yes, has left the cobbles. Hopefully, the casting director will remember all the plots are blonde for the next Harry. He has left to do the Matilda musical.
Oh, so he's left for a good reason. Then.
Yes, which
Okay,
is a good reason. Yes. It's so cute. Like the picture of him that they used in the article that I was reading, it was like from some sort of event, and he's standing there like in a wee boy tuxedo, and his bow tie is like crooked. And it's just the most adorable thing you've ever seen. So, good luck to Carter J. We foresee lots of really great roles in his future because he was brilliant in Better Man.
How many episodes Corrie was he in?
Like 2?
It wasn't many. I think it was more than 2, but it was certainly less than 10, I would say.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
If I had the choice between playing Harry and being in the Matilda musical, I would probably choose the Matilda musical as well.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that you probably take this role thinking that, well, if they're recasting it, then there's going to be some storylines, and then when it transpires that there isn't any storylines, well, you're going to look to go be in a musical then, I guess.
Right, yes. And they weren't able to make it work between the two.
Right.
So he's obviously not,
Well, I'm glad it's a good reason.
Yes. Condolences to the family of Ray Brooks, who starred as Norman Phillips on Corrie, as well as being the narrator on Mr. Ben.
He was brilliant on Mr. Ben.
And Joe Macer on EastEnders. Is it true there was only like 11 episodes of Mr. Ben ever produced, and yet everybody in the United Kingdom, uses the catchphrases from Mr. Ben all the time?
What a theme tune, man. It's been a while since we played a children's TV theme tune.
It's true. Did you have this queued up?
No. It's the internet. It's quick. Oh, Parade. Was it?
That sounds very much like the theme song for a British children's television show in the late 70s, early 80s.
Festive Parade, I think, was a street that he lived on. I loved Mr. Ben.
Aw.
It was... There were slightly politically incorrect moments in it, but it was the 70s.
Yes, yes.
I believe that he dressed up as a Native American at one point.
Well, who didn't? It was the 70s.
What a voice, though. Just so British. And so Mr. Ben. Was it Festive Parade?
Well, while you look that up.
Festive Road.
Festive Road. Instead of Festive Parade.
Yeah, it's just slightly too fancy.
Yes. Yes. And finally, Lucy Fallon has moved house as her old one has become a bit too wee with 2 kids. So while she's on maternity leave, she had to box everything up and move from one house to another, and apparently got quite emotional about it, which I can understand.
It's a hard life.
It is a hard life. I think I have lived in the house that we are living in now longer than nearly any other house I've ever lived in my life.
This is the longest I've ever been in one place.
Yeah. It's nice, but also kind of weird. And that's Corrie News.
That's Corrie News, and that takes us... it's almost like you plan it, Helen. That's where all the time goes. And it takes us seamlessly into our feedback section that I prefer to call Everyone's a Critic.
Christmas on Mars.
Daisy writes, "Hey Homer and Marge." I think I'm Homer. "It's been a few weeks off ignoring the show. I feel terrible, but it was just so awful and it made me feel sad. So back to it and was never off the poddy. It helped to keep me on track with all the madness. Debbie Wollivon, let Tildesley eat cake, etc, etc, etc. I've been meaning to send you snail mail for months, but I'm getting married next month, so keep forgetting."
Oh, congratulations!
Congratulations indeed, Daisy. "Helen, I've been listening. ...
I don't know
I
what
think
that
we
means.
might be about to find out what happens to a bag of crisps that you send across the Atlantic."
Why would they be sent across chocolate? Because the crisps need to come from Canada.
You're going to turn down tomato ketchup flavoured crisps if they come from the UK?
No, probably not.
Well, I invite you to hush then. Congratulations, Daisy. I hope your wedding planning goes well, and congratulations on your big day when it comes.
Absolutely.
Then the artist formerly known as Seal My Fridge got in touch. Oh dear. Good morning, Shakespeare and Hathaway.
Aw, I like that. Sort
I'll
of.
be... it's a hair again, isn't it? I'll
Yeah.
be Shakespeare.
Yeah.
And greetings from a chilly Adelaide. I thought we'd take a moment to clear up a few points from last week's show. You ready?
Is he going to explain the penguin?
Why a penguin and not a seal, I hear you ask? Well, every single other door seal company uses a seal as their logo. If I were to use a seal, I may as well pair it with a sheep and just follow the herd. See?
And yet
You get
the
sheep
logo
jokes.
is we're fitting seals. So if you are fitting seals, there should be at least like the penguin has this scarf. Maybe he could have like a pinback button that has a seal on it on his scarf.
I promise you, Helen hasn't read your email before I'm reading it out. Because the artist formerly known as Seal My Fridge goes on to say, the reference to shipping seals,
You mean fitting seals? It doesn't say shipping.
oh well, he's written shipping,
Oh.
was taken from a well-known, in Australia of course, Jimmy Barnes song called Shipping Steel.
Ah.
It works, but maybe not that well in the US. I actually saw Jimmy Barnes live in Glasgow in 1995, I think,
Wow.
at the Barrowlands. My friend was a big fan, and I became a big fan.
And you know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it doesn't translate in America because they're not going to fly from Australia to the US just to fix the seal on our fridge.
I promise you, she hasn't read this email. No. With reference to our work, we don't service, we're a supply company and do indeed send many seals across the world and even to the US. Helen, is there anything you'd like to be wrong about next? Says, although this may change now you have a lovely orange Tango Man tariff-wheeling president. Oops, sorry, no politics.
No. We are the sorry ones.
You mentioned Kerry last week. She's indeed our lovely GM who sent you your items and neglected to add a note to you. Don't worry, I will remove her bonus this week.
Oh, no!
And take back her Employee of the Month certificate. I did have to play back the mention of a beer cozy, then realised you meant stubby holder. Oh, how I laughed. Anyway, the point to this email was really to apologise to your other listener who may have switched off by now due to the relentless mentions of my business. Still of the show, seal ya later. The artist formerly known as Seal My Fridge. Now that might just be the most premonitionary email we've ever received.
Seal My Fridge, we are still available to do voiceover commercials for you, even though nobody else in Australia knows who we are.
And hey, if you're in the Adelaide area and you need your fridge sealed, you know where to go.
Well, no, because they're a supplier. They don't actually seal your fridge.
Yeah, but somebody will seal it for them. Then Cheeky writes, Dear Gavin and Helen, I'll be Gavin.
Okay.
I don't even know where to start because this week's Corrie was a masterclass in how to drag decent setups into the gutter. Monday dangled actual promise. Aadi finally told Amy how he felt, and for the first time in ages, she had a moment of safety and vulnerability. But instead of letting it breathe, the writers immediately tanked it by shoving Lorne into evil, spiteful witch territory. It's lazy, it's unfair to the character, and it wastes the actress. Then we got to Leo, Todd, and the Gary storyline. At first I thought, finally, Noah's conversion therapy nonsense has been exposed, and Corey's actually going to say something meaningful. Nope. Instead of pushing that through, the writers went straight to the tired Gary reset button. PTSD equals violence. Gary smashes things, rinse and repeat. But the real trash fire was Wednesday and Friday thanks to Abi and Carl. Carl is a complete dead weight of a character and Abi is being dragged down by association.
Preach!
I'm sick from work lie, pathetic. The incriminating photo on Hope Stape's phone, even more pathetic, although that did make me laugh. It's like watching grown adults run a Scooby-Doo subplot. I'd rather see Abi left single to rebuild herself and Carl written off permanently. He adds nothing to the street except eye-rolling filler. The only thing that didn't make me want to throw something at the TV was Carla Connor trying to propose to Lisa Swain. Sure, the champagne glass proposal idea was cheesy and predictable, but at least it gave us Lisa back at work instead of moping at home. There was a flicker of sweetness there, but let's not kid ourselves. This relationship has a ticking time bomb strapped to it.
Yep.
And full episodes of Coronation Street, Cheeky says, are now available on YouTube stateside for free, and that's true.
Yes.
I thought I had to use my VPN to watch them on YouTube, but you don't.
No.
Not anymore. You can just watch it straight on the YouTube. So we no longer are held at the beck and call of BritBox, which has been fairly unreliable recently.
Does this mean we're going to cancel our BritBox subscription?
Do you use it for anything else? I don't.
No.
Looks like it's getting cancelled then.
You know what's funny? Earlier this week, I was checking my bank account, and there was a charge to something called FlixFling. And I was like, what the hell is this? What the hell? Somebody has been using my account to sign up for a subscription to some movie site that I didn't know about?
The artist formerly known as Seal My Fridge has an email about that.
So I was like indignant. So I search for it. I find it. And it was me.
Oh, you did
like
it?
2 years ago, and completely forgot about it. So I finally canceled the subscription because I signed up for like one movie and never used it again. So
I did the same with ESPN Plus this week. Saved myself $12 a month.
yeah, especially since we can get ESPN Plus through our Disney Plus subscription.
And I never watch it anyway.
Yeah. And the only person who other person who might occasionally watch something like ESPN Plus is moving to Iowa.
Hooray!
He doesn't mean that.
No, it's good news.
Yes. But it's also sad because we will miss him.
Thank you to Cheeky, to the artist formerly known as Seal My Fridge, and to Daisy for the lovely correspondence this week. We very much appreciate it. It's always welcome. Send us your thoughts and I'll probably read them out. Get us at thetalkofthestreet@gmail.com, or our DMs are open at Corrie Podcast. We love it when people write actual letters to us. I forgot to check this week. Send your proper mail to the Talk of the Street, PO Box 12, Eaton Rapids, Michigan 48827. But please note that we reserve the right to edit feedback, but only in the interests of brevity.
And if you do send physical mail to us,
we have a cork board.
we will put it on our brand new cork board. You are, dear listener, in real time, listening to me give Gav a cork board for his birthday.
Oh, that's for my birthday?
Well, it's not the only thing you're getting for your birthday, but it's
okay, good.
The beginning of your birthday weekend.
Well,
It's a cork board.
Fantastic. Just slide it back down there.
Are you surprised?
Yes, now stop hitting things with it.
I hit it.
Let's get this up. Where will we put it?
We'll replace
Take that down.
the board where we were going to write our schedules on.
We did for months.
We did it for like 2 months.
We did it for more than that. But then we stopped doing the Poetry in the Bar podcast and we didn't really need to pay so close attention.
No.
Yeah, we'll take that down. We'll get the postcards that we've already received, get them pinned up on that.
Maybe our Seal My Fridge mouse pad?
No, that's getting used at work. I keep on forgetting to take it in.
Oh. I wrote Corrie News with one of the I stole this pen from Seal My Fridge pens. I keep needing to take one of those to work with me just so people ask me about it.
Your work makes me sad. People ask about pens. All right, let's podcast for coffee.
Friend of the podcast.
Woohoo!
Welcome to Aussie Alley,
Oi, oi, oi!
our new friend of the podcast. I had to write to Aussie Alya because normally when people sign up to be a friend of the podcast, I say if you want your name to be read out, something different from your name.
Right.
Which some people do, and that's
Yes.
absolutely fine. Or if you don't want your name read out at all, let me know.
Correct.
So Aussie Alya's real name appeared, and I reached out and said, do you want to be
Aussie Alley.
Aussie Alya? Do you want to be your real? And Aussie Alya said, let's give Helen a reason to say oi, oi, oi. And you didn't disappoint.
I did not.
Aussie Alya, for listeners who don't know, does her own Coronation Street podcast, the Coronation Street podcast. She and the lesbian detective watch Corrie through the lens of a Swarla stan, and is a very good listen, especially if you want more Swarla content than we typically give.
Right. Which is, not a lot.
Typically as much as it's on screen is what you get.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you ever so much, Aussie Alya, for saying that. We very much appreciate it. The Talk of the Street is and will always be free on your podcast provider and on the YouTubes. But if you think our show is worth anything more than the time it takes to listen to it, and if you want to show your appreciation, you can buy us next week's coffee by going to ko-fi.com. That's ko-fi.com/the Talk of the Street. And if one show isn't enough for you, you can also sign up to be a friend of the podcast through the same link, where for as little as $2 a month, you can get access to the Talk of the Street Spoiler Alert, our weekly spoiler show, and the Talk of the Street Classics, our monthly review of a classic Corrie episode, which we will need to start thinking about recording fairly soon here.
Yes, and you need to send me the link to the YouTube.
You can't look it up?
No, because I can't remember what number episode it was, and if you tell me now, I'm still not going to remember.
We're looking at episode 637, I think. It's the one with Patrick Stewart in it.
Yes.
All that, plus a mention in the closing credits of each and every episode. And if Ko-Fi isn't your thing, we also have a Patreon site where you can show some love for the same benefits. Sign up to be a friend of the podcast there at patreon.com/the Talk of the Street. But remember, you can always support the podcast for free and get us in front of new listeners by liking, subscribing, rating and reviewing wherever you get your podcasts. Alright, shall we dive in, my dear?
Yes, please.
Our first storyline this week is Theo No Sleeves.
Only he's got sleeves this week.
Yeah,
So
disappointed
weird.
about that.
So weird.
I wondered if
It's August.
the sleeves or absence thereof was a hint to his inner turmoil. In Nina's roles, Theo learns that the police are dropping the investigation, which Todd thinks is great news. That's an investigation into what?
And remember, there was that investigation into whether or not he was being violent again, and whether or not he can see his kids.
For punching Miles? Were the police investigating that?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't punching Miles. No, for pushing
He punched
Ollie.
Miles. He punched Miles in the face by accident.
Who's Miles?
His son.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, no, I don't think they were investigating that. They were investigating the whole Aadi thing, and then the social worker heard
That's right. That
about
was
the
the
whole
Aadi
Aadi thing and said, well, we need to investigate this and see if he's being violent. ... Again.
Yeah. I forgot all about that.
Clearly.
This is a Coronation Street podcast. Theo is in no mood to agree with Todd about anything and accuses him of going behind his back with Billy again. Theo is far
and
more...
is still continuously referring to Billy as Todd's ex, which is just so annoying.
Theo is far more civil with Gary when he comes in later.
Because he's never dated Maria.
And later with George, Todd finds a flyer for Noah's church, which has him photographed with Danielle, Millie and Miles, and extolling family values. Todd is shocked, I tell you, and tells Theo, who's unusually calm about it, and reckons that kicking off will only make matters worse. He's clearly upset though, so Todd gives him a hug and offers to take him out for lunch.
Aw.
Theo agrees, but later, a distressed Theo calls Todd to say that he won't make lunch because of Gary's work, it's keeping him too busy. Theo, though, is at the builder's yard, and he's in some bad shape.
And smashing things again.
And after some audio flashbacks of his kids and Danielle and Noah telling him how useless he is, he
And
smashes up the
evil.
yard. Kinda.
Evil.
Gary finds Theo hiding in a corner of the yard with a bloodied hand. He admits to what he did but asks that Todd not find out. The two of them tidy up as Theo explains why he smashed the place up. It seems the picture of Noah upset him far more than they let on, and he explains how Noah and his brethren tortured him with the conversion therapy. Gary takes him for a pint, but when Todd sees him later, he goes fucking rage. Accuses Theo of playing games, given that he stood him up. If it's games you want, says Todd, it's games you'll fucking well get.
Uh-huh.
So Theo lets Todd go. Gary thinks Theo should speak to Todd about all this, and then tells him about Eileen and the serial killer, Pat Phelan, which was news to Theo.
Well, yeah, he'd heard of Pat Phelan, but didn't realize that he was married to Eileen, who
Yeah.
is Todd's mother.
Tell me Theo doesn't watch the news without telling me that Theo doesn't watch the news.
Ugh.
So Theo goes home to talk to Todd, but Todd's heading out on the town and has no desire to talk to Theo. Smell you later, he says. But Todd
Is back by 8 o'clock.
Todd's back home by 8 o'clock. His tail between his legs. So Theo gets to talk to him after all. And Theo admits to what happened at the builder's yard. Todd apologises for not letting Theo talk about it earlier, but is glad that he didn't kick fuck out of Noah. Later, Theo goes to thank Gary for his advice. And Gary has a plan to get some revenge on Noah. And Theo doesn't need to lift a finger. You don't need to worry about me, says Gary. I'll take care of this.
I got it. Because I like to beat people up. Oh, even though I haven't really done that in a month?
He's pushed people about recently.
Yeah.
Remember when...
Not Mac. What's that guy's name? The guy who's not there anymore?
I was thinking maybe Peagate Len. Did they not push Peagate Len? I would push somebody about with Maria's counsellor deep fake porn storyline.
Right, yes. But the guy who murdered Coulson. Only not Coulson. Because Coulson's still alive. The guy who murdered Craig. Remember Gary got in an altercation with
him.
that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What was his
And
name?
He was pushing him about and stuff. I can't remember. I don't really care.
It was Mick.
So I was close. I was one letter off. And you left me hanging.
I honestly didn't know who you were talking about.
Mac is someone I work with.
On Wednesday, Gary has put up some shelves because his penis isn't working since he got beat up that day by Lou. He's sorry for going off the rails and that he and Maria celebrate 5 years together. Huzzah!
Huzzah!
Meanwhile, Theo is still fretting about not seeing the kids who hate him. Gary says that he'll go easy and put the frighteners up Noah. Gary fucking hates bullies and thinks this is the best solution all
Except
round.
himself. Or maybe he also hates himself.
And maybe afterwards he'll be able to get a stiffy. Meanwhile, Maria is in the cabin chatting to Fizz about Gary putting shelves up and fixing a cupboard. Things must be on the up, says Fizz. If you only knew. But it was nice to see the cabin again.
Yes, we get to see the cabin 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, and in a couple of days this week we get to see it.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not complaining about that.
Yeah, no.
Look how people can talk in a shop together.
Yes, because everybody was involved in that conversation. Not just Fizz and Maria, but also Brian. Brian was there. And Jenny and Glenda.
It was great. And then Rita came in with some tea. The gang's all here.
And began to sing.
It's an orgy. And
An orgy with one man. And
one's all it takes. Especially when that man is Brian.
oh, what he can do with his forehead.
Gary goes to the community centre, and while Noah is out, he rips up all their pamphlets and paraphernalia. Maria meets up. It's like, is this what this can't possibly be what you had in mind, Gary, is it?
No, because he also has a hammer on him.
He took a hammer with him, but he seems to be taking an awful lot of glee from ripping up pieces of paper and then throwing them in the air.
You know what?
In a community centre that probably has some sort of custodian looking after it that will be responsible for clearing all that stuff up.
Yes.
It won't be Noah.
No. Still, it is very cathartic to rip paper up.
It is. Maria meets up with Theo and asks where Gary is, and when Theo is a bit awkward about the reply, this raises Maria's suspicions and she's out with the Find My Gary app on her phone. At the community centre, Gary is armed with a hammer, waiting for Noah to come back, and is shocked when it isn't Noah who walks in. It's bloody Maria. Gary's got some splaining to do, which he does, but badly, as he waves pamphlets in Maria's face, calls Noah a creep who's fucking up Theo's life. Maria agrees that Noah's a bit of a shitbag and needs sorted out, but doesn't think this is the way to do it, and is worried why Gary cares, seeing as he's known Theo for 5 minutes. She's the level-headed, sensible voice that this situation needs. Back at Eileen's, Theo confesses to Todd about Gary's plan to deal with Noah, and Todd is shocked given Gary's track record, so he and Theo go off to put an end to this. Meanwhile, Noah has got back to the community centre to find the place vandalised. This is woke, he says.
Oh, yeah. The woke brigade has been here. Was it woke brigade? It was woke something.
I think so.
And he's like, rainbows!
That's right. That's what
Love is love. What is this garbage? Because that's what the vandalism is.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Maria and Gary have painted rainbows on all of Noah's banners and then written love is love in red paint.
Yep. And
Yes.
Noah says, love is not love.
No.
Love is hate.
That man needs Jesus.
As Maria and Gary are congratulating each other on a job well done, Theo and Todd barge in, furious because Noah is live streaming the damage from the community centre,
Rainbows!
calling it a hate crime and turning the other cheek. As if anybody's going to watch this.
Is anybody watching this besides you, Theo and Todd? I don't think so.
How did they even know that was happening?
Rainbows are a hate crime. Stop the rain so we don't get the bows.
Well, once
Love
again,
is a hate crime.
once again, everyone's SEO game is absolutely on point. If Noah live streaming some torn up pieces of paper in a room
And a painted rainbow.
is going viral.
Yeah.
Theo
It's not.
Theo has had enough of Gary and storms out. Gary is once again far too emotionally invested in someone else's life and goes out on the premise of picking up a takeaway for him and Maria. Later, Danielle storms into Eileen's, calling Theo every name under the sun because Noah's in hospital fighting for his life or something, maybe, probably. She calls them scum and promises they'll pay for this.
Right, yes, because she also calls Todd scum. And Todd's like, now why am I in this?
You can call Sarah a slag if you like, but don't call Todd scum.
No.
Back at the
Because
Rose
only
Gold
one
flat.
of those things is true.
Back at the Rose Gold flat, Gary is careful to conceal some jam on his t-shirt.
shirt. And it's like, you think he's going to take the t-shirt off. Because why not? Why not give everybody just... We haven't seen a bare chest in a while on this show. Gary, take your shirt off. But no, he hides it with a towel and then goes to sit on the couch to watch a movie with Maria with a towel on his shirt.
So he can pretend to be a sexy waiter. A sexy ginger waiter. On Friday...
What were they They were watching My Best Friend's Wedding.
Oh, something like that, wasn't it?
Yes, which also has a ginger in it. And a gay.
On Friday, in Nina's Rolls, Theo's worried still about ever seeing his hateful children again, while Roy is chatting to Gary about the vandalism at the community centre. Theo has a quiet word with Gary, but can't work out if he was the one who twatted Noah. Meanwhile, Todd raises the idea that maybe Theo did it when he nipped out for a takeaway or whatever last night. In that case, says Todd, it must have been Gary. Just at that,
Swain.
Swain arrives at his door to arrest Theo, not just taking him down the station for a quick chat.
No.
He's actually arrested. She's been dying to arrest someone for ages.
Yeah, it's been a while.
At the cop shop, Theo calls us a stitch-up, but Swain has an anonymous tip-off that he was at the scene. Conveniently, Theo attacked Noah from behind, so Noah can't confirm.
He's also fighting for his life, so not sure whether or not he can talk.
I don't know if he's fighting for his life. I may have made that up.
No, Danielle did say he was like fighting for his life or
Oh,
something.
that's Danielle. She's no idea about anything.
No.
Theo, though, has an alibi in the shape of one Todd Grimshaw. So Todd comes in to give his alibi, but it's obvious to everyone that he's lying out of his arsehole. Nevertheless, Theo is free to go, but Swain tells him not to get cocky because she's not letting this slide. Theo accuses his wife of being the mystery witness and insists again that it's a stitch-up, although she has every right to be psycho about this now that he's gay. And speed dial later, a cocky Gary says his hands are clean and this whole thing has been win-win. Privately, Todd thinks it's going to blow over, but Theo is having regrets over getting Gary involved in any of this. And that's as far as we get with that this week.
Yes. Oh, they had to give Theo a straight testosterone friend, didn't they?
A what now?
Testosterone.
Oh, testosterone, yeah.
Testosterone. The San Francisco treat.
Oh, how delightful.
Instead of rice-a-roni.
You could be saying anything to me right now. Yeah, that's that storyline. It's more palatable to watch when Theo is more consistent. And at least this week, he wasn't really gaslighting Todd that much.
There was no Kubrick stare this week. But have you noticed his hair?
Yeah. Something happened to his hair. It changed colour a bit, didn't it?
Changing. It's fluffier. It has a lift and a bounce that it didn't have before. And it's like...
I thought it was a different colour as well. I think he's maybe shedding for the winter.
Is this supposed to be something like the Kubrick stare to imply a change in personality with the hair change and the lack of wife beaters and the increase of long-sleeved shirts? Or is he hiding the whole snappy rubber bandy thing?
Oh, could be doing that, I guess. We did see a little bit of that before he smashed up the
Builder's
yard. Although it was a strange way that they shot that because he was looking at himself in the mirror, obviously.
Which was weird.
Because of the flashback.
It was a weird shot, wasn't it? Him looking in the mirror.
Because I wasn't entirely sure that there was a mirror there.
Right. I'm like, why is there a mirror in the builder's yard?
That's never going to last.
Does Gary
Permanently
need to...
7 years of bad luck.
You would think that a mirror in a builder's yard would have like sawdust on it or something. That it wouldn't be sparkling clean because it's a mirror in a builder's yard.
And I get the whole metaphor that he's looking at himself as he's having these flashback thoughts to people calling him evil and stuff, and there he is looking at himself.
But he's like looking at himself, but we don't see his face, and that was weird too.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're almost not sure which part is the mirror and which part is the man.
Right.
A little bit. Yeah, I wasn't 100% sure if that scene worked. First of all, because there would never be a mirror in a builder's yard. But also just the way that it was angled just felt weird that we wouldn't see his tortured face.
Yeah, I'm going to say 7 out of 10 for the idea, maybe 3 out of 10 for the execution.
Correct.
And Todd, these days, I still feel that he's a little cautious about how he speaks to Theo and stuff.
I liked how he stood up for himself, though, with going out, even though he came back at 8 o'clock. But the fact that he's like, nope, I'm going out, fuck y'all.
Yeah.
And wasn't quite as cowed. And actually, Theo was not, you're not going anywhere. See?
I expected that when he came home was maybe some violence.
And there was no violence.
Right.
So, who knows?
No, it was Gary, wasn't it? I mean, we didn't see him do it. But he had the jam.
But he had jam on his shirt, so... And he was careful to cover the jam up. Instead of being, oh, geez, did I cut myself shaving?
And he did look like he was in a bit of a friskier mood when he came home.
I really hate that if that's part of this, that he's turning to violence to prove his manhood to himself.
Oh, I think that's exactly what he's doing.
To get his penis up. That just, it feels icky, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
Proving your manhood by putting up shelves, yes.
I don't disapprove of Gary returning to previous form, because these things are cyclical, aren't they? Characters become face and heel and swap between the two. I was going to say he was a decent villain, but the suspicion was that the show made a mistake when it made Gary the new big villain. Remember? We thought it was going to be Nick.
Yeah.
And
Mick.
then, no, we thought it was going to be Nick. Back when the factory roof came down and all that sort of stuff.
Nick, who cries all the time?
Yeah. When, well, it was before he went through his weepy phase. But Gary being the big villain, I don't know if COVID ruined it or not, but it never really became something, and it became a far more interesting story that Maria was prepared to accept him for who he was and what he'd done and all that sort of stuff. And that became an interesting story.
And then Maria makes him a better man. And that was good. And then they become like one of the best, most well-rounded couples on the street. And that was good. So I'm really not a fan of this whole supposed return to form. It's like, come on.
Yeah, I'd rather he didn't, but I don't.
And I also don't
entirely hate it.
I also don't like the fact that it's returned to form because a woman hit him.
Yeah. But
that's gross.
Lou clearly could handle herself.
Right, yeah.
It wasn't like he got beat up over Sally.
No, although...
Or Hope.
Well...
Hope could probably take him right enough.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, she attacked him from behind. She attacked him with a weapon.
Right.
And plus Lou looks hard as nails. Oh well. Let's move on to Swarla at 6. On Monday, the new inhabitants of number 6 leave for work. Betsy's keen to get on the fabric prints today. Turns out Betsy has been putting recycling in David's bin, and David's found out about this and is fucking furious. And he puts the recycling over Carla's new front lawn. And amongst the flyers is an ad for a life drawing class. She's quite intrigued by it. So later, despite not working at the factory, Swain shows up at the factory with exciting news. She's booked them both on the nudie life drawing class. Carla's thrilled.
And they're both very excited, even though Swain says that she doesn't know how to draw.
Carla's thrilled, and even more so when Swain hates this sort of thing. The life drawing class is weird though, with fluorescent paint and black lights. The two of them are having far too much fun.
Painting each other.
Cover each other's faces in paint when Betsy calls Carla. Betsy calls Carla.
Yeah.
She's done this a few times now.
Right. But
Betsy calls Carla.
But there's a reason why she calls Carla.
There's a factory emergency.
Yes.
So.
Factory emergency.
It's a factory emergency of the week. So back at the factory, Betsy has used the wrong font. So something that was on a garment, instead of saying burn baby burn, now looks like it says bum baby bum.
It looked like burn baby burn to me. It did not look like bum.
This is the thing
but it's like,
about the word burn. If you write it in cursive, it's always going to look like bum. It's like Clint. When you write Clint in cursive, you know.
Someone else I work with. Why do you keep naming my coworkers? It's so weird. No. What's weird in this situation is the fact that they're printing burn baby burn on a camisole. What does that even mean? What is that even supposed to imply?
That my boobs are hot?
Well, they are.
Thank you very much. Carla challenges Betsy to come up with a better slogan. Swain is impressed that Carla didn't blow her top and treated Betsy like an adult. Betsy has been leaning on Carla much more than Swain recently anyway. Back home, Ryan catches Carla going through Lisa's jewellery box and quickly deduces she's about to propose. And Ryan is made up for her.
Yes, he approves.
Carla is super pissed on Wednesday by David barking and shitting all night. So's the dog. Oh ho! That's a joke.
Zing!
Sally has invited them round for nibbles, and Swain is worried that Sally and Tim are swingers. Privately, Carla is waiting for a ring to arrive. There's an awkward,
but not like that.
There's an awkward moment when Carla and Swain are in Nina's roles and Sarah and Kit come in. Carla thinks she should bury the hatchet with them. What? Suck my balls, says Swain. But later at the factory, Swain, who still doesn't work there, shows up and shows Carla the idea she's had for Betsy's 18th, which is matching rings with Becky's fingerprint on it. Carla pretends to be impressed by the idea. And separately, Kit complains to Sarah that Costello's had it in for him for ages. Well, this is new news, isn't it, Helen?
Yeah, because it used to be that Costello had it in for Swain for ages.
Yeah. So I think Carla was annoyed because the ring with the fingerprint.
Right, because it looked like wedding bands.
Right.
It really looked like wedding bands. It's kind of weird how much they look like wedding bands. And so she was like freaking out, thinking that Swain was going to propose herself and kind of ruin Carla's moment, I think. Or
Well-
that Ryan had done something to insinuate to Swain what Carla was thinking of. And so the surprise has been ruined.
On Friday, Carla's ring has arrived in a box.
John Doe has the upper hand.
But not like that.
She's worried about proposing until Ryan reminds her that Swain's already proposed to her once before. Which is true.
Which is true.
He recommends that she put some effort into it, though. Because Carla's like, well, I don't really think I'm going to go down on one knee or go the whole, make a big production out of it. And Ryan's like, yeah, because women hate big productions for proposals. Swain, meanwhile...
Ryan, ironically, is telling the truth.
Swain, meanwhile, is back to work today and can't wait to start arresting folk again. In the pub, Carla speaks to Glenda to tip her off about her proposal plans and asks her to put her ring in a glass of champagne. Like, how fucking twee. What is this?
The 1980s?
It was twee in the 1980s, wasn't it? She goes home and after a fashion...
Let's all remember, this is the first time Carla has ever proposed
Well,
to
she
anyone.
does say that, yeah. And talks Swain into meeting at the Rovers after her shift. At the pub, Glenda tells Carla about Tyrone's first proposal to Molly and being usurped by a bloke with access to a mariachi band. Ronnie and Debbie are starting their wedding plans too, with Ronnie having a great idea for the band. Debbie wants a DJ and disco traffic lights. That does sound like Debbie. Swain arrives and Carla's about to trigger the champagne ruse when Debbie comes over to show her wedding scrapbook and they talk weddings. And Swain reveals that Becky proposed to her with a ring and a champagne glass. Carla shits herself and makes choppy throat motions to Glenda, who quickly walks away with the champagne flutes.
Now, don't you feel like this would have been a conversation they'd already had?
Yeah, I'm surprised that she didn't know that
That's how Becky proposed.
Mm-hmm. Or
Yeah.
that Becky just proposed.
Right. Yeah. It kind of feels weird that Carla didn't already know this information. Of course, especially since Swain knows that Carla has been married 5 times. So they have to have had a conversation about marriage before, because let's remember, Swain has already proposed once.
Yeah. This feels a little bit like the conversation that probably Theo and Todd should have had about Pat Phelan.
Yeah. Yeah.
You would mention that sort of thing, wouldn't you?
My mum was married to a serial killer. Yeah. Yeah, you'd think that would come up in conversation.
What else are you going to talk about?
You would also think that news reports would have mentioned Eileen's name and picture in some of the news articles about this.
This is what I was getting at.
And,
Theo doesn't watch the news.
which is weird.
So, the mood is officially killed. Back to the Debbie side of things, Ronnie has found about a dementia choir at the community centre, and predictably Debbie is very dismissive of the idea, thinks that she's above it, and it's actually pretty mocking of people in the choir. Ronnie apologises if he was patronising and then tells Debbie how proud he is of her. Patronising? Yes.
He apologizes for being patronizing and then kisses her on the pow.
And then patronises her, yes.
Yes. Well, the kiss on the pow was a little patronizing just to begin with.
So Debbie promises to think about the choir thing. Back home, Ryan admits that it was a corny way to propose and suggests to Carla that if she doesn't have any better ideas, maybe go with a mariachi band. And that's as far as we get with that this week. I thought this was quite cute. And I thought it was quite good fun.
It was corny.
It was corny, but there's nothing wrong with a nice bit of corn every now and again.
That's true. And it's nice to have the corn coming from a Swarla storyline as opposed to, trauma.
And to get more than a couple of scenes of Swarla in a week. Am I right, Aussie Ali?
Why?
I think I'm right. I thought this was nice. I don't know what's What's prompted the proposal idea?
It was, I think in part it's the fact that Carla feels like a mother to
I
Betsy.
thought so. Yeah, I think that's
And
what it is.
wanting to be the mother of the child of your partner isn't exactly a reason to get married to your partner. It's like marrying someone because you love their parents. Let me tell you, folks, that doesn't work.
Sweet, sweet experience. Oh, how we learn. Maybe. I thought this was nice. Was it weird that Swain was dying to start arresting people again? I'm sure there's something about crime prevention and what she does, right? Not just arresting people.
Yeah, and investigating stuff, because you have to do the investigating before you're allowed to arrest people, especially if you're a detective and not like, Craig. Because your job is to investigate things.
Sure, that's why you're
a detective, yes.
So, all this stuff, though, about Kit and Costello maybe being on the skids is super interesting.
Oh, just wait for spoiler alert.
Oh, well, for our friends of the podcast,
Yes.
this will be out shortly after this episode becomes available. Yeah, the insinuation has sort of been that Costello and Kit are tight. I wonder what Swain's last visit to Costello's office when she was searching through his emails, because she didn't do anything to exit out of that.
No.
So Costello would have seen what she was looking at.
Yeah.
I wonder if maybe he's done some investigating of his own.
Or he would have seen that and also noticed the same thing she noticed, that the last time those files were accessed were by
Yeah,
Kit.
that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah. But you said Costello.
Yeah, Costello was looking. It was Costello's office
Right, yes.
when she was looking at the emails, and she didn't exit out of it.
No.
So Costello would have turned and looked at it and seen what
Kit.
she'd seen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, that's exactly what I was saying.
Okay, because it sounded like you were saying Costello is also investigating.
No, I think that
Also
maybe he has
investigating
done some.
Becky's stuff.
I think maybe he has been, if he's seen what was on that screen and saw that Kit was involved in something that maybe he shouldn't have been involved in. Maybe he's done some digging round about that as well.
I think Costello knows more than than Swain and Kit put together.
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
He's like the smoking man in the X-Files.
Yes. Exactly.
Oh God, is this becoming the X-Files?
It would not be the first time that aliens appeared on a soap opera.
See, I don't really mind this. I don't mind the depths of this mystery if that's what we're doing. But I just don't know that it's Coronation Street.
Well, maybe
This isn't Line of Duty.
maybe we're finally going to see a bent cop face retribution. Finally, because it never happened with Craig. Craig died, and nobody knew he was a bent cop, except for Faye.
It did happen with Neil, one of the coppers who was grooming Bethany.
Well, yeah, but that's different. That's not a cop we're supposed to like.
No,
Also being bent.
I'm still not sure if we're all supposed to like Kit or not. And from time to time I do like him, and from time to time I don't. He's an enigma.
Apparently, the actor himself doesn't know.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Well done, Coronation Street. Keep everyone in the dark. No, I quite like this story, and despite it not being the sort of Corrie typical story, I'm keen for this mystery to have a bit more flesh on its bones, and maybe we'll see some of that next week. All right, we'll move on to McDonald versus McDonald. On Monday, Steve and Cassie make plans to watch a Weather County documentary. Tracy thinks Steve is going out with Tim, which I agree with. Amy is once again suspicious of her mother's behaviour here, and she's further suspicious at the florist later when she checks the florist's computer and sees how much the florist is actually worth. Amy refuses to let her rip her dad off like this and sends the valuation to Steve, who storms round to the florist, fucking furious, and advises Tracy to lawyer up, you fucking cow. And because of this, Steve moves out of number 1.
Yes.
Does it matter how much the florist is worth? Just the two of you agree to keep the thing that's yours, the thing that you've worked on.
Right. I think the only reason why it matters how much the florist is worth is the fact that Tracy was going to try to take half of Streetcars and then all of a sudden didn't want to take half of Streetcars. And it's because she found out how much her own business was actually worth, which she should have maybe known beforehand. Right?
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's what it was. I think she always knew. And it was the threat of Steve going after that put her off.
Well, yeah, but the fact that if Steve was successful, he would benefit more than she would.
On Wednesday at the cab office, Steve is morose at having to stump up 85 quid for a B&B last night. You've heard of hotels, haven't you, Steve? There's Premier Inns in Manchester, I'm sure. I bet you could have got a room for 50 quid. And you get your breakfast. And you get a nice little cookie when you go in. Is that Premier Inn? I don't know.
It would be a biscuit, not a cookie.
Oh, no, it's definitely a cookie.
Is it a cookie?
Mm-hmm. And so he asks Cassie if he can crash at number 9 for a few weeks. Cassie says that she'll see what she can do, and then she winds him up about getting married. At number 9, Hope is trying to get Tyrone to agree to her going to a gig with Jack later in the week, while Cassie pesters him about Steve. Tyrone okays Cassie and puts the kibosh on Hope. Hope tries her luck with Fizz then, who will think about it, and then she's furious to learn that Steve's moved in.
Yeah. Fizz is furious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it weird that Tyrone is saying no to Hope about going to, like, a festival?
Hope.
She'll be with Jack.
That wasn't a festival, just a gig.
Right. But it was like a festival-y gig. Well, it's like a gig.
Just,
It's like
just call it a gig, because that's how they called it. They just
Right.
called it a gig. She's going to a
Right.
concert.
Yeah. Yeah. She's how old now?
14 maybe.
You'd let a 14-year-old go to a concert, wouldn't you?
Unsupervised.
Well, she's with Jack, and I'm assuming that one of the parents has to drive them. So,
Oh, it's in Manchester. They'll just get the tram. Although Tyrone said later in another storyline to be in the car park for 8:30.
right, yeah. So, I don't know. This feels kind of heavy-handed of Tyrone, especially since they let Ruby go to summer camp. If they have the money to send, if they let Ruby go to summer camp and they leave Hope unattended.
I think maybe it's that Hope tends to set fire to things.
Right. But wouldn't she be less likely to set a fire with Jack with her than alone in the house because nobody else is in the house because Ruby is gone?
I don't think at any moment she's less likely to light a fire. I don't think Jack's going to stop her. Jack seems to be more of a instigator this week, I felt.
And also he has new trainers.
He does.
Even though he
Insert
only...
something funny about his feet here. Cassie's plan is for Steve and her to sleep in the living room, and they make it sound like they won't exactly be not having loud sex when they do so.
In the living room.
Tyrone comes home and is surprised to see Steve already there, and Fizz furious at the situation. Steve and Cassie are snogging at the kitchen table. Make sure you get all the bacon out of my mum's teeth, eh? Says Tyrone, which was what?
Right,
Later.
because they're snogging at the table in front of everybody.
Yeah. Hope is still pissed off with Tyrone and sees a chance for some revenge when she finds him and his hairy arse bent over a broken down car at the precinct, so she takes a photo on her phone. Later at home, Tyrone is trying to keep Fizz happy about Cassie, so seems to be relenting about Hope and warns Steve not to get his hole off of his mum under his roof. Steve promises to keep his hand on his halfpenny. I've never heard that phrase before, but it sounded quite apt. We will come back to this storyline later. But for the moment, there's something funny about seeing Steve staying at Tyrone's house. Because you never see Steve in Tyrone's house that often.
No.
So it's all that, just the kind of funniness of seeing people in places that they shouldn't be.
Right,
It'd be
but
like
then
seeing
you're like-
Ken in the rose gold flat would be hilarious.
But then you're like, oh, wait, no, Steve is dating Cassie, who lives in that house. So it makes sense.
Oh, it makes sense, but it's still funny to see it.
Right. Yeah, it's funny until you're like, no, this shouldn't make sense to my brain. And then it does.
We'll get to this, I guess, when this develops, but I'm not sure what the big deal about Tyrone's arse is. It's a perfectly serviceable arse.
Would you be okay with one of the kids taking a picture of your ass crack and then threatening to post it on social media?
I don't think I'd care.
I think you'd care.
I'm not ashamed of my ass.
Just think,
That's not what I want to cover up. It's my penis and my 2 testicles that I want to keep covered up.
yeah. Well, that's what you should be proud of, though.
I'm not going to say that.
Then it's a good thing I already did.
I don't know. It just,
Nobody wants their
he's
ass on
a
social
mechanic.
media.
He's a mechanic. People see his ass all the time as he's bent
Sure,
over
but
things.
it's not on social media. And let's remember, Hope is the new
I know,
influencer
and
on
that
Coronation
Hope
Street.
saying it'll go viral.
My dad's ass is going to go viral.
You don't decide what things become viral or not.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll move on and we'll come back to that. Next up, George on the apps. On Monday, George is addicted to his dating app now and is meeting a woman from it tonight. He intends to wear his Undertaker gear, but Todd won't hear a word of it and insists he dress up proper. So Glenda catches him trying to hide shopping bags later, so George has to admit to his date with Samantha. He's nervous about it and now wishes that he hadn't been so forward. So Glenda suggests he and Samantha have a drink in the Rovers and she'll make sure he's okay. And if she's not up to scratch, she'll get rid of her for him. So he pops into the cabin to see how Jenny's plumbing's doing and offers his tools. If she ever needs them. Ryan thinks it's hilarious to hear old people flirting. Jenny is aghast and insists that she's not interested in Eileen Grimshaw's sloppy seconds, which is a lovely image.
Only she totally is.
Yeah. In the pub, Jenny is surprised to hear that George is on a date and makes her excuses and leaves, and she's clearly stung by this.
Right. And also, there's a hilarious scene earlier than this where George is talking to Todd about going on the date, and Todd asks what he's going to wear. And he thinks he's going to go on a date wearing his Undertaker clothes.
Yeah, I said all that.
And instead he wears like a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, he's got a Hawaiian shirt. And he's shopping that I also talked about.
Yeah, but and Jenny makes a big deal of it. Like, oh, he's so dressed up wearing a Hawaiian shirt.
I thought he did look quite smart. I thought he suited it. It's not everyone that suits a Hawaiian shirt.
It's true. It's true. He did look nice.
So Samantha comes in, and wouldn't you Adam and Eve it, it's Glenda's best pal from primary school. So Sammy and Glenda get on far too well, reminiscing that George is left to watch his pint go flat. And when Sammy asks if they want to go to a show with her, it's Glenda she's talking to, not George. And
Oh,
that's
well.
as far as we get with that this week.
Yeah,
And that's fine.
it's fine. It's fine. I don't think if I bumped into like my best friend from elementary school and realized that the person I was supposed to go on a date with was their sibling, I would probably say, you know what? This is not a good idea. You don't want to date like your best friend's brother or sister, do you?
Well, you haven't seen this person in 20 years.
Yeah, but then you bump into them and it's like you've never left one another. And then it's like, oh, that's your big brother George, who used to pull my pigtails when I was 8.
So that's not really my experience
No,
of meeting
thank you.
people that I've fallen out of touch with for that length of time. You normally meet up with them and you realise that you got nothing to talk about. What do you say when somebody says to you what you've been doing for the last 20 years? How do you sum that up? Oh, nothing much, you know.
Yeah, you reminisce about the good old days when you made little hand game things with one another using one
Hand
another's
game
names.
things.
Right, like Sam and Glenda were
Oh,
doing the
yes.
ba 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 boo ba ba. Sally and Glenda, not sitting in a tree, but something else. I
Yes.
don't remember.
With motions.
Yes, and clapping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think women are different.
I think women are different. So, I like George and his tentative dipping his toe back into the dating game. I like that. And I like it especially on the backdrop of probably having a relationship possibility right in front of his face.
Right, with Jenny.
Yeah. Because the more I see he and Jenny together,
It's cute.
it is.
It's cute. I like it.
And I think it's really because the actors are so good at doing this sort of thing.
Yes.
Jenny's kind of giggly flirtation and
Right, yeah.
George, is he flirting or is he not? You can't be sure,
No.
but there's a possibility,
Yes.
and that's enough.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
It all comes back to the whole women are different thing.
It does. Talking of which, let's move on to the temporary happiness of Aadi and Amy. On Monday, Amy is surprised to see Asha working in the corner shop and is further shocked when Asha tells her about Dev's plans to ship Aadi off to India. India? She finds Aadi in the community garden later. And
It's almost as bad as London.
again, she tells him that she knows he didn't spike Lauren deliberately. He says the party ruined everything. She doesn't want him to go, and he says he wants to be more than friends, but heard her talk about their kiss to Asha and how it hurt him. And she explains it was more about Aaron than it was about him. And so they smooch a wee bit more, and then after Aadi checks for consent very carefully, he and Amy get their hole at number 1.
Correct.
Meanwhile, Lauren has grassed Aadi up to the filth. Half an hour later, hey Carl. Half an hour later, Aadi is pleased as punch, but sees Amy is weepy and worries that he's hurt her. But these are tears of relief, she says. Relief that she once again could feel something in the moment, again after Aaron. And it's all thanks to lovely, lovely Aadi and someone that she could trust.
Right. In her big, poofy robe.
He heads home, and PC Jess is waiting to take him away as a smug Lauren watches from the sideline. Later, after Aadi's let out and goes back to number 1, Lauren is quick on the scene and says Aadi is just a fucking prick like every other man. He maybe didn't spike her, but he lied about it, and he led her on and then dumped her for Amy. That didn't happen.
No.
Aadi thinks Lauren is acting needy, which shocks Amy, who starts to believe Lauren and thinks Aadi might be better moving to India after all. He's not the man she thought he was. Like, there's so much wrong with this. And I don't blame Lauren for being upset about this. She has every right to be upset
Absolutely.
about this. After all, Aadi, through his cowardice and his lies, has let her think that someone has spiked her. Someone hated her enough to spike her drink.
Right, yes.
And
Yeah.
that wasn't true, and he knew that wasn't true, and he could have stopped that.
Right,
So
yes.
she's right to be upset about that, and she's right to dump him for it.
Correct.
But to go to the police about it, and to then turn Amy against him, I think that's too much.
I'm just really, really disappointed that, we finally got to see Lauren as like a whole person for a few weeks. And now she's back to this like angry, bitter ball of just rage. And it's like, what was the point of kind of building her up just to knock her back down again?
Yeah. When...
I mean, I'm glad she knows. I'm glad she knows. And I think she was well within her rights to be upset. And I also kind of feel like she was well within her rights to go to the police and allow the police to prove that it was accidental in the end and let Aadi off. I think it is important to have that happen so that because she doesn't really know Aadi. And I think we all kind of forget that. Before that party, I don't think she'd ever said 2 words to him. Or vice versa. They weren't friends.
They were starting to become something. She was, I think, keen on him before the party.
I don't think so.
I think so, because he kept on offering to help her out and give her stuff for the flat and
He
stuff like that.
started to do that after the
It
party
wasn't
out of
after the
guilt.
party. It wasn't. But because he felt, I think he felt sorry for her in her whole situation leading up to this, and the whole Joel stuff. I think there was maybe not a hugely developed history, but I think there was the insinuation that she maybe fancied him and maybe he fancied her a little bit. That never really came to anything.
But he didn't start to fancy her until he heard Amy say that she wasn't interested, or that she didn't feel anything with the kiss.
No, and that definitely changed after the party. But I don't think it was exactly the first time that he ever considered it. I don't think this was a long burning thought to him, but I think there was some foreshadowing that this was possibly going to become a thing.
Still, they barely knew one another. So, and considering the abuse that girl has been through in her life, I feel like it needed the police saying, no, this was accidental, for her to be content that it was accidental. I mean, this girl has been drugged before and beat up and abused and sold by her father for sex with other men in order to recruit them. And I'm sure other things.
Oh yeah, I'm not
So-
arguing that she hasn't had a horrible life. She absolutely has.
And if you are a person like that who has a hard time learning to trust, somebody saying, oh, it was actually my drink, after weeks of not saying that, she's not going to readily say, oh, okay, I believe you.
That person also, by the way, doesn't pick up a random cup at a party.
You know, this isn't somebody who has known Aadi since he was a little boy like Amy.
Right. But there we have it, though. Amy has known Aadi and they've grown up together. And within one conversation with Lauren, she's ready to believe everything Lauren says and nothing that Aadi says.
Well, Amy did not know that Lauren and Aadi were kind of in a relationship for a while. Amy didn't know anything about that. So I think that was what was troubling her more than anything, is that, you know, she and Aadi share this kiss at this party, and then he immediately is with Lauren, who Amy knows.
I don't think Amy knows her particularly well either.
No. Doesn't know her. But Amy knows that it was Aadi's fault. That it was Aadi's cup, so to speak. I don't know. I'm really of two minds over this, but I just am just really disappointed. It's like, but this is what they do to all of the female characters, is constantly just throw them back in the trauma pool over and over and over again.
On Wednesday, Dev calls Bernie round to the shop to tell her that he's selling the chippy. They're stretched too far, the place is failing, and so it's best to get shot now.
And we've never seen the inside of it anyway.
Bernie asks him to hold fire as she has an idea, and predictably that idea is Brody. Dev thinks this is hilarious, but Bernie
How
says...
is Brody working at the shop supposed to save the chippy? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, he needs a shelf stacker if Aadi's not going to be there. He needs somebody to replace Aadi, basically. Dev thinks this is hilarious, but Bernie says Kev gave him a glowing reference. I don't think that boy worked one day at the garage. Then Aadi comes in, and he's fucking furious to learn that Dev is considering giving his job to Brody. The two of them argue about all the spiking stuff, and Dev is incredibly sanctimonious, so Aadi snaps and tells Dev that his new shelf stacker is the one who brought the drugs to the party in the first place. Stick that up your arse and smoke it. Dev tears a strip off Brody for dealing in Class A drugs, which Bernie tries to deny, And Brodie says that the only way he could feed his sisters was by taking drugs to a party and letting Aadi keep them. I'm not sure that makes sense.
No, well, yeah, I think the insinuation is he had the drugs to sell them, and then Aadi took them away from him before he could sell them.
Yeah, I don't think that was true either. Dev, though, thinks Aadi is worse than Brodie because he had every advantage in life, apart from the dead mum bit, and accuses him of using people like Brodie and Lauren, and this stings Aadi. At home, Bernie thinks this has shat all over their holiday plans, but Dev thinks they both need this. Bernie says Aadi needs him more, so Dev decides to send Bernie on holiday without him, and she agrees. And that's as far as we get with that this week. I'm glad that it's been called a holiday and not a honeymoon, because they're not married. Let's remember, the wedding didn't happen, and whatever happened in the hospital doesn't count. So, the holiday is just a holiday. But for Dev to let or suggest that Bernie should go on her own is kind of weird.
Well, except for the fact that part of this holiday was for her to go and see an old pal that she hadn't seen in years. That makes it less weird. Like, no, part of this was you going to see your friend, and you haven't seen your friend in years, so you should still go.
Angel, was it? I think it was Angel.
Sure. And spend some time with your pal, and I'll pick up the pieces here. And that makes sense. If it was just, Bernie on the beach in Ibiza, that would be weird.
Ibiza, eh?
Yeah.
That would be the place that Bernie would go. Or maybe Ayia Napa.
Sure.
I don't know. I just think this whole thing is give us a storyline that's going to write out Aadi without telling us that you're writing a storyline that's going to write out Aadi by having everyone turn against him and leave him really no option. This is obviously just feels anyway to me, a hastily organised storyline to write Aadi out.
I'm just concerned that they're going to murder him.
Who's going to kill him?
I don't know. Brodie? I would really hate for us to have another suicide story.
I don't think he's dying
so soon.
I really do think he's going to India. But I guess we'll see. I was quite pleased, though, that Dev did take umbrage at Brodie dealing in the Class A drugs, because the show has been trying to throw hints that it's redeeming Brodie a little bit. We're meant to like him because he likes his sisters and stuff.
Right, and he likes Tim and Sally.
But he's a horrible person.
Yeah.
Who continually does horrible things.
Yes. And implies that he's doing horrible things for a good reason, but still, they're horrible things.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that his excuses hold that much water either.
Yeah, and also, he thinks these are good reasons. He thinks stealing money so that he can steal his sisters away for a life on the street.
Yeah. Great idea.
That's a great idea. Yeah. Terrific. Just so they're not separated, they're going to live in a gunnel.
Or a cardboard box in the gunnel.
Yeah.
In the alleyway of doom.
Yeah. Not great. I think they're better off with Tim and Sally.
Yeah, and at the time of the party, the social work weren't even sniffing around at that point.
No, they weren't. Lou wasn't even in jail. Lou hadn't even hit Gary over the head yet.
No, that was that night.
Yeah.
So...
none of this holds water.
Yeah, this is all just bullshit. Our penultimate storyline is Legally Alya. On Friday, Alya is applying for lawyer jobs, and Dee Dee advises that she plays tough to show
legal assistant
people that she has balls. Dee Dee looks like she's beginning to struggle with the responsibilities of being a mum and a hotshot lawyer. In Nina's role, she and Adam are talking shop, but are interrupted by texts from James about Laila's progress vis-a-vis rolling over and how she's done it for the first time. And now Dee Dee is worried that she's missing out on life.
Adam has had a haircut.
Later, Alya chases up one of her legal assistant jobs, but she's been rejected. In speed dial later, Dee Dee raises her concerns with Adam. He can't quite believe that she's thinking about going part-time just because a baby rolled over, and says the practice can't function without her. So Dee Dee thinks that an unqualified Alya will be the answer to his problems if she reduces her hours, and that's as far as we get with that this week.
And she's like, I know you're sleeping with her, but she's also a really good legal assistant. And there won't be any problems at all with you guys sleeping together and working together.
Adam, though, is so not into this.
No, not at all. And he's right.
Mm-hmm.
He's right.
For this time, he's right.
For once, he's right.
It was surprising that Alya didn't really agree with him when they talked about this months ago.
Right.
She was a little hurt by it.
Yeah. It feels like Adam, I don't know, has a little bit more experience when it comes to being at close quarters with someone he's sleeping with.
He's fallen off that mezzanine before.
It's true.
Oh well, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Okay. Back to the sucks to be a Webster storyline then to finish us off this week, but not like that. On Wednesday, Abi is watching on admiringly as Carl signs up with James for a bit of personal training. He sends her a cheeky text at the garage. Abi fakes a migraine, so leaves work early, the lazy cow. Carl meets her, and then they're going to get their haul, but she can't lift tail in Kev's house, so they decide to go out for a drive instead. So, Carl drives them to the precinct.
Oh, yeah, so romantic.
In his big fancy Audi, even though he's tens of thousands of pounds in debt.
Mm-hmm. He probably stole it.
In the other storyline, Hope is pissed off with Tyrone, so has taken a photograph of his arse cheeks while he fixed a breakdown at the precinct, just as Carl swings round the corner. Abi doesn't see Hope, but she sees Tyrone, so she quickly hides down in the footwell. Tyrone turns and sees Carl, so Carl gets out the car to have a quick chinwag, not to be weird, before they make good their escape. Back home, Kev and Jack have been shopping and have got Abi some treats, which makes her feel super guilty. So she heads out for kebabs and checks on Tyrone just as Hope comes over to play her pocket aces. Let me go to that stupid fucking concert with Jack, or I'll post this photo of your sweaty old arse. Carl's car is in the background, and Abi shits herself as she realises that she's in the fucking photo.
Yep.
She meets Carl in the Gunnel and explains that they need to get that photo deleted. Stat.
Uh-oh.
They're not doing anything.
No, they're just in a car.
And this is a missed opportunity. They should be doing something.
Right.
Rather than just sitting in a car.
Yeah, and that's, Carl points out, I can't be in a car with my sister-in-law. And she's like, you idiot. I'm supposed to be home with a migraine when this picture was taken.
You can't be in a car with a migraine?
No.
On Friday, Hope's had her phone confiscated and has been banned from the concert, and she refuses to help Steve look after Dorin, and instead she fucks off. Steve decides to play hide and seek with Dorin, not knowing that Dorin is fucking brilliant at hide and seek. At the garage, everyone is dead keen to see the photo of Tyrone's hairy arse. Abi is now super determined to get her hands on this photo, so when Hope arrives, Abi brokers a deal that if Hope is allowed to go to the gig, she'll delete the photo. Tyrone agrees and says that the phone is back home in the biscuit tin. So Abi takes Hope to Nina Rolls for a treat and tips off Carl that the phone is in the biscuit tin at Tyrone's and tells him to go get it and get rid of that photo. Meanwhile...
Yeah, which implies get the phone, delete the photo, put the phone back in the biscuit tin. That's not how Carl sees it, though.
But, well, it also suggests that Carl can get into Hope's phone when Hope has already said that she's got passwords and everything, that you can't just grab her phone and get into it.
That's true.
Meanwhile, Steve's watching telly when the council arrived to pick up Tyrone's old fridge.
Hell, he's asleep in front of the telly.
Yeah. He remembers that he's supposed to be seeking, and there's no sign of super hider Dorin, so he rushes to the garage to report the wee boy missing, and to speculate that this might be related to the old fridge getting picked up. Oh, fucking pig's tits, says Tyrone, and they all rush off.
Has no one seen that very special episode of Punky Brewster?
That what?
The very special episode of Punky Brewster where Punky's friend gets stuck in a refrigerator and nearly dies.
I've seen tonight on a very special Blossom.
This is why in America, when you throw your fridge out, you have to take the door off so that children don't suffocate in fridges.
This never harms.
It used to happen all the time in the 70s. That's why they had to make a very special episode of Punky Brewster in the 80s.
These storylines, though, all converge when Carl is about to sneak into Tyrone's through his back door.
But not like that.
When Dorin creepy as fuck, sticks his wee head out of the outhouse and tells Carl to shh. So when Steve arrives to explain what's happening, Carl plays along on Team Dorin and offers to stay at the house while Steve goes off to search. And this gives Carl access to the biscuit tin and to Hope's phone and to the photo of Tyrone's hairy arse. And he throws it in a basin of water just as Hope comes in.
It's like dunking it in the sink. It's like, dunk, dunk. Is it still working? Dunk, dunk, dunk.
Because that's how electronics work.
Yes.
He says he found it there and fished it out as soon as he saw it. Hope grabs it, but the phone is officially fucked. Carl becomes hero though when he drags Dorin out of the outhouse and returns him to his loving dad. Now that he's stopped hiding, Dorin is fucking deafening while the adults try to deliver their lines.
It's so cute. It's so fucking cute, him with that little blue car. I just want to squeeze those cheeks.
Fizz doesn't know what to do. Abi doesn't know what to do.
Yes.
They're determined to say their line.
Right, but also saying, oh, yes, that is a blue car. Oh, my God. That child is the best.
Missed that wee boy. Missed that wee boy so much. Why is he still there?
Because he's going to be there forever, let's be honest.
How long do you think it's going to be before someone mentions Alina Pop again?
Never.
Because it was months ago she left him. Months ago.
Yeah. It's like Shanice and Joni. Nobody is ever going to mention the name Lou or Mick again to those two children.
Yeah. So Hope's phone is in rice, but it's still fucked. And she's out of cloud storage, so she's lost everything.
Yeah, apparently this kid who's so very smart and has passwords on everything hasn't backed it up.
Yeah, she's run out of cloud storage. So she hasn't lost everything. She's lost new things, I guess. Tyrone has had time to think about all this and decides to be furious with Steve until everyone remembers that Oliver died at Dorin's age. Abby says, because Carl doesn't know,
God,
so
Carl.
Abby says, Steve lost a child. Oh, this has happened to you before? Talking about the Dorin stuff? No, he died. And then Steve's fairly dismissive of it, but does look upset.
Yeah.
I felt sorry for him.
Everybody looks upset. Even Carl looks upset when he realizes that he just jokingly asked Steve if his dead child hid in an outhouse.
Right. Out in the Gunnell, Abby knows that Carl knew that Dorin was in the outhouse all along and thinks this affair has gone too far. Too many people are getting hurt by this. Back in the house, Tyrone's decided to be angry at Steve again and asks him to leave, and Steve, to his credit, understands, doesn't argue and makes a move. Hope tells Tyrone that she doesn't trust that fucking Carl. Not one little bit. She thinks that he did this to her phone deliberately. Tyrone doesn't care now that Steve has left and that photo has been fried. In the bistro, Carl pretends to meet Abby by accident and makes a plea for them to continue their relationship. Abby thinks it's a death wish, but fuck it. She's Charlie Bronson and she's back in. And that's how we end this week's episodes.
Yeah. She never wants it to end. Like, babe.
So it's going to end next week then? That's usually how these things work, isn't it?
You never want it to end. You never want this affair to end. You want to stay married to Kev, but sleep with his brother on the sly until Kev dies. That's what you want?
That's what you want to do for the next year and a half?
Because, you know, if she does dump Kev and gets together permanently with Carl, it's not going to be the same.
The
Because
guild is falling off that lily already, I think.
Right, yeah, because part of it is the sneaking around.
Absolutely. Yeah, the mystery.
Right,
The fact that
the danger.
at the drop of a hat they can just jump in the car and go for a mystery tour of the precinct. What are they thinking? It's what the countryside's that way? To get to the countryside you've got to go through the precinct?
And park?
Because they were talking about going to a country pub where nobody knows them and sitting
Right.
and holding hands and all that stuff that you would imagine that they would do.
Right, but instead they park
go
at
to
the precinct? It's ridiculous.
So bizarre. But here, this was quite a nice constructed story though, because you've got the separate threads of it. The fridge that had been taken out of the house the night before that Was it Theo or James? James helped.
Yes, James
take it
helped.
out.
James helped the old men.
Steve and his search for a place to kip and all this sort of stuff that was coming together
Right.
with a simple game of hide and seek.
Yes.
Never play hide and seek with a child that isn't yours, because this is
And a
what
child
happens.
that young.
Right. Especially when Hope says, oh, he's very good at that.
And apparently Steve had already played hide and seek with Dorin earlier in the day. So he should know that he's very good at it. Because when Steve calls up to Dorin, who has just woken up from his nap, and says, Dorin? And Dorin says, yes.
Now, I thought they were going to
They were going to do the whole
stymie
thing.
us and not
Not
give
show
us Dorin.
Dorin. Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking that too.
I
It's
was-
like, oh, is this going to be Bertie all over again?
Yeah, I was prepared to be outraged by that.
Yes, but then we get him. And oh my God,
how
do we get him?
He was creepy as fuck, though, wasn't he?
Shh.
Oh,
I think he's creepy as fuck because we watched Weapons last weekend.
yes. If we saw him doing the
Naruto run?
the
Yeah.
Naruto run across the street at night,
Yeah.
I think I would shit my unders. So good to have him back in it, though.
Absolutely.
Just puts a smile on my face. I can't not smile when he's screaming random shit at people that are trying to do acting. It's my favourite thing about Coronation
it's
Street. at the moment.
beautiful. I love
So
it.
good. Good to get Hope into a story here and be her fairly usual self.
Yes.
Tyrone and Fizz being at loggerheads a little bit is usually good fun.
It is mean that Ruby gets to go to summer camp and not Hope, though.
Yeah.
That does feel bad.
Yeah. The only thing that I didn't really like too much about this was it took up an awful lot of time, and at the end of it, nothing's really changed.
No. Except for Steve is also is going to have to go back to the Airbnb.
And Hope doesn't trust
Carl.
Carl.
Yeah, because like identifies with like
Mm-hmm.
here.
Yeah, she sees right through him.
Yeah.
Because Abi said it was a little look that she saw in him that nobody else would have been able to see. I
Right.
think Hope
I think Hope sees
these
it.
looks,
Yeah.
just doesn't know what they're about.
Right.
But she's got his cards marked.
Absolutely.
It'd be great if she's the downfall of this. Because she's got some beef.
Right.
Because she thinks that Carl fucked her phone, and he did.
On purpose.
Mhm,
Yeah.
And he did.
And you know how Hope deals with beef?
She sets fire to it.
She chars it
Yeah, she does.
on both sides.
Yeah, I thought for a story about essentially Abi and Carl continuing their affair, it interested me a bit more than it normally does. Still not getting the heat from it, though. It's still not a smouldery, sweaty thing. And maybe that's a problem, and maybe that continues to be a problem. But when you've got these things happening around the periphery of it, it makes it a little bit more exciting, particularly when some of that includes a 3-year-old boy screaming at the top of his lungs about a blue car. Well, that was the week that was Coronation Street, Helen.
Agreed.
What was your moment of the week? And I think we're laughing, but I think we know that it has to be.
It's Carla going like this.
Oh, is it?
It's the wedding proposal that wasn't.
That's the moment of the week.
You think it's Dorin going shh, don't
Yes.
you?
Yes, I do.
No, I think it's Carla and the whole funny, I'm gonna do this proposal, and then we're gonna mention Tyrone's attempt at a proposal a long time ago, which is like a nice callback to classic Corrie.
Yeah, that's true.
And then we have this failed wedding proposal that also feels very much like what we want from Coronation Street, as opposed to all the, presumed innocent bullshit and,
Yeah, what we tend to get here after a proposal like this, where some thought has gone into something that doesn't deliver, is that we get from the other person the proposal
yeah,
that Swain not knowing that this was going to go on, proposes.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it really was Dorin saying shh from a...
You didn't let me give it to Steve on the poll last week. So you don't get Dorin going shush.
But didn't we give it to something equally stupid last week? We did. Because you thought we'd get complaints. We didn't. We gave it to Jenny and George Flitton.
Which I agree with in the end.
Oh, well.
Oh, well. Carla.
Cancelling at the last minute on the proposal plan is our...
Moment of the week.
Now, moment of the week.
Your boring moment of the week.
It's so freaking hard because we got no Daniel, no Chesney, and no Ken.
Nope.
So nobody was really being very sanctimonious. Is it Dee Dee complaining about not being there for Laila's first rollover?
It could be that, or it could be Roy talking about the last concert he went to in the 1970s.
Oh, yeah. And then having to explain to Hope who that was.
The Spinners.
Right. Who the Spinners were. Mm-hmm. To a child who does not fucking care.
Doesn't care at one little bit.
Doesn't care at all.
That's Hope's boring moment of the week. Is it ours?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Boring moment of the week.
Poor Roy. I don't like giving boring moment of the week to Roy, but do you know what? Sometimes he deserves it.
That's true. I'm just trying to imagine Roy at any concert.
No, he fits in at the Spinners.
Even the Spinners.
He fits in there. He actually could have been in the band.
Yeah, I guess.
You do know who the Spinners are?
Yes.
Yeah.
Me,
fits.
who's like really into folk music? Yes, I know who the Spinners are.
This is a very particular folk music, though.
Well, yes.
Yay!
Alrighty, it is the Yay Minutes section of the podcast. This is where we ask our Twitter followers to rank the show. Either yay, meh, or zzz, depending on their enjoyment of this week's episodes. And the voting this week was 27.5%, meh 40%, and yay 32.5%. And it was so meh that nobody could be fucking bothered to leave a comment on the tweet. But we don't let that influence our scores, Helen, although I think it's influencing mine unknowingly. What score out of 10 would you give the show this week?
5?
Yeah, it's a 6 for me, I think. I think it's just fairly down the middle. Maybe a little bit better than average. I did laugh quite a few times at it.
Yeah, me too.
And obviously, Dorin just keeps on knocking it out the park. Alright, let's wrap this one up then. This episode was brought to you with thanks to our friends of the podcast. Daisy, French Helen, Pickles, DT, Wendy, Noel, Canadian Helen, Christy, Shandy, English Victoria, Aurora Yvonne, Heather Westerfield, Russell Whiting, Jackie B, Brittany Porter, Laurie Anna, Tina, Stephen, Leah, Tara J, Fiona B, Canadian Jennifer, Josephine Tingy, Anne Greenwood, Trish R, Sarah Purbrick, Alison Quinlan, Hunker Munker, Darren, the artist formerly known as Seal My Fridge, Pamela, Marge JT, Tom Ambrose, Christopher Anstey, Terry in LA, Joe T, Corey Dales, Matthew McInerney, and Ozzy Alley.
Oi, oi, oi!
Thank you very much indeed, folks. We very much appreciate it. If you've ever hidden in a refrigerator that's ended up in the landfill, write in to tell us about it. We're the Talk of the Street at gmail.com, and we're at Corrie Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Threads and Blue Sky, or reach us the old-fashioned way, the Talk of the Street, PO Box 12, Eaton Rapids, Michigan 48827. Our spoiler show will be available shortly after this one, and in August's classics we're talking about episode 1. Get access to this exclusive content by becoming a friend of the podcast at ko-fi.com, that's ko-fi.com/the Talk of the Street, or patreon.com/the Talk of the Street. Check out voggle.co.uk for links to our merch store, YouTube channel and blog. And if you're so inclined, please leave a rating and a review on the iTunes, your podcast provider of choice. And be sure to check out our pop culture sister podcast, The List of Lists.
Weapons! One of the best movies of the year.
Thanks for making it to the end of another episode, and we will be back next week with more
Talk of the Street.
The Talk of the Street.
Bye.
Cheerio.